Let me help this young bloke understand why he can't afford to buy a house.
I honestly can't get my head around how 50 years ago your grandparents could buy a 4-bedroom family home for cash, no mortgage.
They did have a mortgage, they just didn't need two adult incomes to service it because the banking industry was deregulated by Paul Keating in the 80s, which allowed all of this capital to flow into Australia, which created this Ponzi housing scheme we have now, because all that foreign capital just pushed up the price of houses, which meant two adults had to go to work to service the mortgage.
Have a brand new car.
The cars were made at a factory just around the corner from your joint, mate. We made all of them here, so they were locally produced and they were actually good value for money at the time.
Support 5 children off one blue-collar income.
Yeah, but your 12-year-old didn't need a $1,000 iPhone back then. They were pretty happy with a $1 football when they'd spend most of the day out in the yard kicking it around on their $8 bicycle.
Yet now, I'm nearly 30, looking after one child.
Income tax rates 50 years ago were set up so that working overtime was actually beneficial. You actually got more money in your pocket instead of just paying a higher tax rate. So instead of having two jobs, what your dad did was probably just do a few extra hours.
Me, got 2 jobs, one white-collar one where I got a 3-year university degree at a top 30 institution in the world.
Yeah, that degree is absolutely worthless now because with the recognition of degrees from the subcontinent, meaning anyone with a degree from some shitty university in fucking India basically has the same qualification as you, your qualifications ain't worth shit.
And I can't even afford to buy a car park in South Yarra.
Yeah, but that's because the people who live in South Yarra created the economic conditions whereby they own almost everything and you'll own 2/10 of fuck all.
Like, I know I'm not Warren Buffett, but the finances just ain't adding up.
Yeah, and the bad news is, mate, they probably never will, not for a really long time, or at least until your kids are grown, because your generation at 30 years old, you're going to be paying off the COVID panic, the overspending, the reckless fucking Karen behaviour that we enacted to try and save our economy, but all we did was inflate the Ponzi fucking housing scheme even further. And then we introduced all these rules and regulations that made it virtually impossible to build a house. Even just to build a house now, the government takes 44% of the cost of that home in taxes. That's not counting the time that it takes to regulate, stamp the papers, approve the development. Like, honestly, the whole thing is structured so that you will be tax cattle. Keep using that word, tax cattle. That's what you are, mate. You're a 30-year-old tax cow that will do nothing but contribute to the state for the rest of your life, paying off the generational debt legacy that's been left for you. Now tell me which part of that was wrong.